YouTubes, it's me, Zipster. Welcome to another edition of Nuts in the News. Dateline, Hong Kong. In a bizarre incident, a 62-year-old man is said to have tried to attempt suicide by inserting a cucumber from behind. According to the Hong Kong Sun, Chen Li was rushed to the hospital after his daughter found him lying in a pool of blood. He told the hospital administrators he was trying to commit suicide. He wanted to commit hara-kiri, but he said he couldn't find a knife, so he used a cucumber. Yeah, the paramedic said that the enormous tear in his rectum was not life-threatening. I mean, come on, if you want to commit suicide doing something like that, you got to find that Mr. Hands video and follow that closely. Oh yeah, if you haven't seen the Mr. Hands video, don't go looking for it. Nuts! Dateline, Liverpool, England. 2 women were arrested at the John Lennon Airport when they attempted to take a dead body on a flight to Germany. Yeah, it seems the staff became suspicious when they couldn't rouse the 91-year-old to ask him a few simple security questions. He was sitting in a wheelchair and had sunglasses on. The women said they had just gotten out of a taxi cab and he was perfectly alive then. One of them did say he looked a little pale, but he was definitely not dead. The women were his wife and his stepdaughter. And they said that he hadn't been looking too good lately, but they definitely thought he was just napping. However, when the staff took his sunglasses off, they realized in an instant he was dead. Though, I mean, let me show you a picture of this guy. I mean, who could really tell if he is alive or dead? Look at this. He looks worse than that guy Anna Nicole Smith married, for crying out loud. Yeah, so the women were released on bail, but they're trying to charge them with illegally transporting a dead body across country lines or whatever. Nuts! Dateline, Fairfield, Connecticut. Police arrest 2 attempted bank robbers. Ready to get a load of this. The bank robbers, 27-year-old, let me get the name straight, Albert Bailey, and an unidentified 16-year-old decided that maybe instead of having to spend so much time at the bank waiting for him to load up a bag with money, they would call ahead. So yeah, 10 minutes before they robbed the bank, they called the bank and said, "We're going to be robbing you in 10 minutes, so please have a bag full of cash ready and waiting for us when we arrive. We don't want any trouble." Needless to say, when the pair arrived, police were already waiting for them. Police said, "We're not sure if they have attorneys yet, but they didn't seem too smart." No kidding. Nuts! Dateline, Uramutua. Police say a man who was accused of stealing 2 phones from a convenience store was recently arrested when he flagged down the investigating officer asking for directions. The officer said he had already been notified by the convenience store clerk who gave a description of the man, John White. And as the policeman was looking at him, he's like, "This looks exactly like the guy at the convenience store said robbed him." And it turns out that White was asking for directions to his home, which was already on file because he was a convicted felon. So the police offered to do, "Hello, we got the guy." When they investigated, they found the 2 phones and a small bit of marijuana. The police said that charges are pending. Now listen, I got just a little bit of advice. If you're going to go into a convenience store to steal something and you don't know your way home, you better off stealing a GPS. You know what I'm saying about nuts? Okay, thank you very much for joining me again this week for another edition of Nuts in the News. We'll see you next week. Thank you. Nuts.